What you need to do is get rid of them zeros and get with these heroes.
What, in your opinion, what holds many veteran-owned businesses back from scaling?
Ignorance. And I would have been guilty of that same thing, because when I was coming into the acquisition, or should I say the contracting space, I went to the same sources that haven't changed, many of them, right? They're very rigid, that these veterans go to today, right? I went to what was at that time my PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. I went to the Small Business Development Centers to try to learn everything that I could about how to do business with the federal government. And I kept getting the same old tried and true advising. And I would be willing to submit to you that they're still delivering this advising today. Son, first thing you got to do is you got to find a prime contractor. You got to become a subcontractor, that prime contractor. And eventually, right, you're going to get enough past performance to be able to go out and prime your own contract. Well, that advice was being delivered in a season where there were authorities on the book that allowed for joint venturing, that allowed preference owning organizations to dynamically engineer the capability and capacity that they needed to be contract viable, right? And so I, being the innovator that I was, right, read that, tried it, and successfully got my first contract without having to go through the subcontracting for 6 or 7 years and so on and so forth, right? And so the veterans today need to get right-minded guidance. They need to get the right-minded information on how they put themselves in a position to be viable in today's acquisition space. How they are viable not as subcontractors, not as agents or pass-throughs, but as prime contractors, right? That actually own the foundation of contracts that you can stack and build that generational wealth footing that we talked about. It's possible. It can be done. And if you're listening to people that are saying, well, you have to subcontract, you're listening to the wrong people, right? What you need to do is get rid of them zeros and get with these heroes.